Chapter number 4, denial of service attacks. Me personally, I'm not so concerned about denial of service attacks. Okay, it's known. It makes a lot of media attention. It gets a lot of media attention. People are concerned. It knocks down bank services. It creates confusion, but it doesn't threaten the systems in the way like a more sophisticated penetration or alteration where people actually get access and the ability to administrate the service per se. But it's a part of what you need to understand. And well, to some degree, denial of service might be interesting if you look more in societal perspective. For instance, with the government, especially the government is targeted because it can question the government's authority and question the confidence in government's ability to protect and defend and maintain their information system in a crisis. But that said, so I'm going to move into this chapter and we take a look at it. But I'm going to do it very brief, but the text will explain it more in detail. So we're just going to see how denial of service attacks are accomplished, how they work, protect, and defend. It's a very common attack. You just flood somebody's system so they go down or get totally clogged. And it prevents legitimate users from accessing the system. It just blocks it. And it's asking, sending a lot of requests at a specific point, and it doesn't have time, it doesn't have resources to keep up with the pressure. So computers have physical limitations: number of users, size of files, speed of transmission, amount of data. Of course, if you exceed any of these limits, it will cease to respond. It goes down, or it gets pretty much knocked out and have a problem. It gets slower, have a trouble to process. Today's data parks, though, that we have in major corporations, they can handle massive amount of requests. So over time, plus you can balance it out. You can use different heuristics and stuff to see what's a bogus request and non-bogus request. So I would say that this is a problem that would affect local government, smaller corporations that don't have these security features in place, but many of the major players already have solutions that deal with this problem. So you rush through a flood with using different protocol, and master, of course, can spoof its IP that you don't know who you're dealing with, and they're when you try to track them down, it's all bogus. So here it says like that this is actually like a Trojan. It's a virus and so on that normally is spread as like a virus or malware that goes into, like, say 1,000, 10,000 computers, and say at a given moment in time or in a specific condition says, hey, let's do this, and all these 10,000 computers start asking for information or doing a request to a targeted site. So the weakness is it has to be sustained. It has to reach your threshold where the targeted system start to go down. It has to be sustained. It can't just be 10,000 here, 10,000 attacks here, and a day later 10,000 attacks. So it maybe has to be like 100,000 attacks coming in 6 hours straight to totally crack the systems. And of course, when machines are disinfected, the attack stops, which also means that it's really hard to do this using regular client computers that we have at home if they get virus protection. But that's here in the industrialized world. In other parts of the world, for instance, the developing world, maybe computer security is not that advanced. I mean, in a university, somewhere in the developing world, maybe have 8,000 computers and with central distribution of software. So I mean, it's other ways of getting the power of mass amounts of computers. We might get better here with our virus scanners in our software that pick up malware, but in the developing world we have a rapid growing number of computers. So we're going to see here what happens. It sends a lot of requests, and it floods the buffer. Demands a lot of resources, and it drowns the system. And yeah, I mean, they're better than that. I mean, prevention and I think today we've gone beyond this that's mentioned in the book. I think the way we do it by balancing things out and using software that identifies legit and non-legit incoming. Of course, when you do that, 20% of what's coming that's legit is going to get stuck in the filter, and it's going to be a lot of confusion for a while, but you will not get knocked out. Again, overloading. It's more about it in the book. So it goes down to regular computer security hygiene. Have adequate antivirus software. I mean, if you don't let these, so there's a lot of names here, but I mean they're updated continuously, so there's always new stuff out there. If you don't let these malwares on, there's no way you can participate in an attack. Now we got like 1 billion computers out there, so there's always going to be computers that are infected. But from your point of view, you can protect yourself not to be a part of a denial-of-service attack by us keeping it up, especially updated. I use McAfee Enterprise, and it pretty much updates automatically. Also, let's see. So it's the flooding is normally like, okay, so when it asks requests, it sends package back and forth and it floods the system. But it's pretty much it's like running the system to the ground by flooding it. It's very basic how it works. All right, the ping of death is fixed. So here, distributed denial of that's when you go out with a Trojan and you spread it around, and all these massive amount of computers send requests to a targeted computer, and it will hit a specific port and will flood it. So a lot of these cyber warfare stories that we hear, like Estonia, Georgia, is somebody who don't like them, or it's likely Russia in both cases, just launched these denial-of-service attacks. But in reality, it only, okay, so you can't reach email, and you can't reach specific things for a while, but it doesn't really create a permanent damage. And it denies service for a moment of time, but when that's gone, it's over. So denial of service today attacks more serves a purpose, saying for signaling. Like the Russians could say to the Georgians, we don't like you, and we are the superpower, and now you're going to feel it. And they knock out a few of their main websites and main internet functionalities, but there is no real damage, and once the pressure is off, these systems will work as usual. And you can also configure firewalls to defend, but most of you are going to work in structures where the defense is already taken care of by either by your ISP or by your government agency's main network administration. So you should not be targeted. You should just keep thinking about not being a participant by keep operating software, OS and software patches current, and keep updating antivirus in your work group and in your department area. And the second one is the big one. It's unsophisticated. I wouldn't say that they're devastating, because we can do things that are far better today, which had digital lethality, which knocks out and blow their system out of the water. This is annoyance. This is like when you go when you went to the beach as a teenager, and this is the annoying kid that makes funny faces and never give up. I mean, it's there. It's annoying, but it doesn't really matter in many cases. Thank you very much.